Racing Challenge. We're here for the third race meeting of the season here at Zolder in Belgium, this wonderful tight and twisty circuit, providing lots of challenges for our drivers in these 5-ton plus 1,000 horsepower racing machines for this season. My name is Chaz Draycott. Great to be back with you once again after my absence for the previous round at the Slovakia ring, but a big shout out and a huge thanks to my good friend Jake Sperry for taking over for that one, and I hope he treated you all well. It certainly looked like you had a lot of brilliant racing to keep an eye on, and we will, of course, take a quick look back at that now at some highlights from the Slovakia ring before we get into the racing this evening. Well, I'm sure you'll all agree it was a very lively race meeting at the Slovakia Ring. Plenty of argy-bargy throughout the entire race evening. However, it certainly kept us all on our toes and kept the championship nice and spicy for this third round of the season. It's really kicked off in exciting fashion here in 2025. Let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship then, shall we, and see what the top 20 is currently formed up as. And as you can see, it is Jorge Vila that is top of the pile on 166 points with those 4 race wins. But as you see, though, he is not an absolute country mile ahead of Csaba Hegedus in second place. Robin Krojtov is only 2 points behind him, ahead of Gergo Balai in 4th and Cornel Berkes in 5th position. The urban sim racing drivers having 3 of them inside the top 5. But let's not forget as well the DTR truck racing team as well. That is Bjorn Tijhuis and Mark Muehlmann that are now 6th and 7th. 3 of those guys in the top 8. Gillian Christian is 8th ahead of Enrique Marcos, who I'm afraid to say we will not be seeing in the rest of the season, unfortunately. Nathan Smith gets himself inside the top 10 on 96 points. Nathan having a bit of a busy start to his championship so far, to say the least. Alberto Garcia is 11th at the moment on 94 points, ahead of Alex Little, with Aitor Marinas in 13th, ahead of Benjamin Rico. Then it's Shabox Kerry and Angel Rapero after that amazing defensive drive against Jorge Vila at Slovakia Ring. He is tied on 67 points with Victor Chabados and Josi Vila as well. Then we have Herman Tobias Martinez and David Astorga Ramirez completing the top 20 drivers there. Very close between all of those guys. And now moving over to the team's championship standings, you can see it's close there as well. Urban Sim Racing, top of the pile, 294 points. And then the Alvit Truck Sport team in second place, on 278 points. They're only 9 ahead of DTR Dutch Truck Racing team. Then there's a bit more of a gap back to the Boss Truck Racing team, and then Team Panos Albacete, and then FOA, Force of Asgard, Buck Aqua Racing, Team Colorines Astorga Racing, Rising Suns Motorsport, and then Auto Vigatana in the Tobias Auto Sports machines. They are the top 10 teams at present, and like I've said, it is mighty, mighty close between all of them. The trucks are all sat in the pit lane, as you can see there, here at this wonderful Zolder circuit. This layout is massively challenging in these machines. It's a very narrow circuit around here, and there's a lot of big chicanes for them to look out for, and a huge amount of curbs as well around this place. It's easy for one of these trucks to bounce way too hard over one of these curbs and have a big old moment. So keep an eye out for those heavy braking zones, especially in the opening laps of the race when the pack is mighty close together. But as you can see, the weather is lovely at the moment as well, and we've got 2 12-lap races here tonight. So the drivers are going to have to work hard for quite a while around this track. 12 laps around Zolder is no mean feat whatsoever. It may have felt like less laps at Slovakia Ring, but at the end of the day, that place is so long, it's nearly 3 minutes a lap. So the drivers have a lot less time on a lap around here to think about what they're doing and think about the bigger picture of their race. But it's exciting to be back here at Zolder. It's not a circuit I've actually visited with the Real World Counterpart series at the moment, but I do hope to head out there one day. I've got many Belgian friends from the sim racing community, actually. I used to commentate on a Belgian community a few years ago. A lot of fantastic people involved in the Belgian sim sport side of things. And they certainly do love their Zolder. They know it's an absolute treasure of a circuit, and I've been told many a time to head out there. So let's see what 2025 has in store, eh? Here is our championship leader, though, Jorge Vila, absolutely dominating proceedings at the moment, winning every race on the calendar so far in truck number 12. He's got number 66, Josi Vila, just behind him as well, hoping to provide a little bit of backup like we saw at the Slovakia Ring. The two of them were clearly working together. They had a fantastic fight with Robin Krojtov last time round. Robin was loving the close racing and all the action that he was involved in. He's great like that, is Robin. He's always up for a good scrap on the circuit, and he always does his very best to keep it clean and keep it tidy. We're obviously hoping for more of that here tonight on a circuit that it's not easy to keep it clean and tidy at. Like I've said, I mean, you can see it for yourselves there. It is a very narrow racetrack here at Zolder. There is Robin Krojtov, actually. He's not gone out onto the circuit yet in this qualifying session, which is interesting to see. Here is something else that's interesting to see as well. We have Mark Muehlmann. Now, he is running in the sort of Henry and Bjorn Taihu's colours here on the new Scania cab, and it looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it, in these colours. I'm sure the team will be loving that and loving the idea of putting that on a real truck. But the very edged and square Scania cab that they have here really does suit that sort of straight line striped design. You can see there just in front of him actually the number 51 of Bjorn Taihu's. Number 15 Henry Taihu's is just behind actually on the same circuit. And look at them now kicking the back end out as well, getting some heat into those rear tyres, doing what they can just to get everything up to temperature before going for a flying lap here in qualifying. This being the third race meeting of the championship. 2 races tonight, as we have all of the time. 2 effectively 25-minute long races. Looks like now Robin Kreutoff has head out onto the circuit. Not quite sure what was holding him back from doing so earlier, but fingers crossed all is okay. Potentially, yeah, as Director Giro has just pointed out, he's probably waiting for a bit of open air on the circuit, or maybe even a bit of slipstream from somebody in front. He's got the number 79 of Chabolt's Kerry just ahead there. Not sure that the two are on similar pace. Kerry usually starts a little bit further down, but to be fair to Kerry, his pace has picked up a lot actually since the first season that I commentated on in this championship. His pace has been getting better and better all of the time in this lovely Kerry Racing Team machine. Here's Alex Little. Great to see Alex back once again for another night of racing. He's been enjoying getting amongst it here and really throwing everything he's got at these machines. He is a multiple New Zealand Super Truck champion in real life, is Alex. He's a fantastic character as well. I met him and his lovely family at the Nürburgring just last year, and we hope to see them at race meetings all over Europe again in 2025. It'd be great to have them around. Here's Csaba Hegedus second in the championship at the moment. Very, very close to championship leader Jorge Vila. He will be certainly trying his very hardest to stick with Jorge for the rest of this championship. I'm excited to see just how close they can keep it as well, because these guys are no slouches whatsoever. 166 points to Jorge Vila and 154 to Csaba Hegedus. There's Cornel Berquez as well. He's 5th in the championship at the moment, 6 points behind his own teammate Gogo Balai. So as I've said, these urban sim racing drivers have really packed that top 10 with these wonderful orange Ivecos. Great to see as well the battle between the urban sim racing guys and the Spanish drivers in the fantastic Polar Cube branded machines, because we really do have that battle of Iveco versus MAN that we have in the real world as well, but we have it now here in the sim on top of that. Here is Josi Vila, truck number 66, following his brother Jorge Vila. Great that they've got their names written on the windows just like they do in real life as well, in their different colours. Josi in the bright pink, Jorge in the bright yellow that he has. I really do like those liveries on the Polar Cube machines though. I've been lucky enough to see some of these trucks in the real world as well at race meetings all over Europe, and they just look absolutely fantastic. They really stand out in those colours, and they stand out even here in the sim as well, looking absolutely marvellous here at Zolder, ready to put their first lap times on the board. As we see Nathan Smith, he's got plenty of clean air around him. He's had a very challenging start to his campaign as well, has Nathan. It's good to see him still pushing on in the DS Commercials branded machine. His dad, David Smith, of course, racing in the real world as well. You can see a big moment in the background there, actually, for, I believe, one of the other Ivecos having a big old slide. I think that might have been Chris Minich in the number 5 machine. It was, yeah, the 05, just very sideways through the Lucien Bianchi box in the ART racing team. Interesting livery on that truck actually, and you can see as well, just standing out on the back of it is the wonderful Total Energies branded 5th wheel with the shark fin on these trucks. We've had our first flying laps on the board, and it is currently Jorge Vila fastest with a 1:54.836. Now I don't see a valid time on the board from Josi Vila. Actually no, I do apologise, he has put a time in, but I don't think it counted because it says his last lap was 5 minutes long. Here is the... okay, I've just been told by our director it wasn't a clean lap, so he went outside of track limits, so it would not have counted. Here is the number 31 machine in our field, being driven by Julian Martin Gomez. He is apparently, well, he was previously in a Freightliner in previous seasons, but this time he is not. He is, as you can see, in one of the MANs. He's currently in 4th position. We look here at Gillian Christian in this Book Aqua livery. Interesting little cat logo on the back of that thing. Not quite sure, sure where that one's come from. But the number 16 machine, one of only 16 machines now, because I believe at the start of the season Mark Muehlmann had the same number as him in the first round. That was very quickly rectified. Hats off to the organisers. There's Jose Maria Rosa in the very angular Renault. This is what these sort of factory race trucks used to look like as well, with all this crazy bodywork all over them. They looked very beefy and very racy, with the huge wide arches and massive scoops and grills everywhere. Jose Maria racing them with his teammate out there this evening. At the moment, he's in 9th position, is Jose Maria. He was involved in an incident at the start of the race evening, actually, at the Slovakia ring, but no fault of his own, just a little bit of lag basically caused the issues. Here's Bastian Donker. Great to see him in the Rainbow Warrior colour scheme as well, the DTR colours. Great to see that it looks good, not just on a Scania cab like this, but also the long-nosed Scania T of Robin Kreutzhoff. 6 minutes left on the clock here for Bastian. So plenty of time to get another lap in. It's just under 2 minutes a lap round here at Zolder. And the guys at the moment are doing 154s to 158s. Jorge Vila still quickest at the moment. He's down on his best at present, so he's not going to be improving on this lap. It looks like Julian Martin Gomez might be improving this time round. He's 0.4 of a second quicker after just the first sector. Now he's 0.6 up. He is really flying. He's had a great run out of that chicane. I'm intrigued to see where he improves. Henry Tyhus just going around the second corner here in that delightful number 15 machine. Just behind him there, sideways, number 84. But it's Vila, Burkes, Kreutzhoff, Gomez and Balai at the moment. The number 84 that we saw sideways is Artiseros. He was really sliding around. Here's Gergo Balai, 5th place. Now down to 6th after his teammate Csaba Hegedus goes 5th. Can Balai improve? Doesn't look like it, actually. I think he might be just winding it up for another fast lap here. He's using that as a bit of a cool-down lap. These trucks often do need one lap between, you can't do consecutive fast laps. It's best to have a fast lap, let it cool down for a minute, and then go again for another quick run. Look here at Robin Kreutzhoff. He's staying off the racing line just in case anybody's coming through. I think he too is taking one of those sort of slow down laps just to get everything prepared to go. He rounds the final corner now. Perry goes up into 10th place, immediately displaced by Benjamin Rico. Here's Kreutzhoff now across the line, all the way over to the right-hand side where that pit wall is. In real life, you do see the wing mirrors sort of skim along the top of that wall there. It's an incredible sight. Alex Little moves the Freightliner up into the top 10. He's the only Freightliner in the top 10 at the moment. Bjorn Tyhus is ahead of him in the DAF. Then it's all MANs, Ivecos, and the single Scania, actually, of Robin Kreutzhoff. 3 Scanias together just outside the top 10. Muehlmann, Martinez, and Donker. Here is Herman Tobias Martinez. Lovely number 33 machine. He went in the wall hard at the Slovakia ring, actually, after a bit of contact on the exit of the first corner. He'll be hoping for a little bit more good fortune this evening. Hits that penalty marker, though, and I'm not sure whether that one will count. He's just got to push on. We'll have to see, though. The director explaining the penalty markers to me in the background. There's certain implications in the race compared to the qualifying. So obviously in the race you can hit them a few times before you get any issues come your way, much like in the real series as well. You get 3 strikes basically in the Real World Championship, where if you hit them twice you'll get a warning first and second times, and then the third time you will get either time added onto your race or you will then have a penalty, such as a drive-through, for example, if you overdo it. Martinez round the final corner now then, hoping to uphold a little bit of honour for the Scanias. Garcia has split them up slightly with 16th place, and Martinez goes up into 12th. Goes ahead of the likes of Kerry, Maria Rosa and Mühlmann. 3 different manufacturers in the top 3 at the moment, though, which is great to see. But this man, Jorge Vila, is on an absolute mission. 7/10 of a second quicker than anybody else. Cornel Burquez second. He's just over 1/10 of a second quicker than Robin Kreutzhoff. Great stuff by Jorge Vila. There's a truck over at the side of the road there, actually, just on the exit. I think that was Gergo Balai. He's just gotten going again. But there was definitely an Urban Sim Racing Iveco off at the side of that chicane, maybe just hoping to stay out of the way. Well, this is great stuff now as we ride on board, actually, with Jorge Vila. Look at that. Just to keep it smooth and keep it gliding around the corners. Loads of opposite lock being put on. He's hard onto the brakes now into the hairpin known as Boulderberg Bocht. Onto the throttle, nice and smooth up through the revs. Building it up in 4th gear. 2,500 RPM. Onto the brakes now into the Jackie Ixbocht chicane. Turns in a little bit early. You can see him take 2 stabs at the steering there. 90 degrees of lock on the exit. On the power. Changes up through the gears. Chava Higueras has just gone 3rd fastest. He puts 2 Ivecos in the top 3. Jorge Vila is not on for an improvement there by the look of it. No, Cornel Burquez is now in the pits as well from 2nd. Look at the commitment there by Jorge Vila. Really throwing the truck through turn 1. Kreutzhoff now, that means, is down to 4th. Gergo Balai is in 5th place. And Gomez. Josi Vila, who is right behind Jorge on our screens. You can see him in the rearview mirror there. He is currently occupying 7th position ahead of Bjorn Teichhuis, Gillian Christian, both of which are in the pits. Alex Little in 10th position. The little red bar you can see next to Alex's name, by the way, is just basically the ping to the server. Alex is over in New Zealand, so naturally there is a bit more ping and a bit more time for the signal to get here via carrier pigeon. Alex Little, though, across the line in the Freightliner. He looks like he's slightly ahead on his time this time around, but it's not going to be enough of an improvement to move him ahead of Gillian Christian. Here's Victor Chabados in the Volvo. Lovely to see a Volvo in the field. He's currently in 20th. In one of the, well, I think it is the only Volvo in the field. It's Jose Maria Rosa and his teammate David Astorga Ramirez. They are teammates together in trucks 20 and 69. But here is Benjamin Rico, currently just outside the top 10. Qualifying is now over. Final laps being completed. Gyula Zentai just crossing the line. I think the other driver we had across the line as well, I think it might have been Artizeros. It was Artizeros across the line. Gillian Christian just coming to the final corner as well now to finish his qualifying session. Chava Higueras has gone into the pits. Jorge and Josi Vila are both about to come around the final corner. It looks like Josi Vila is going to improve here, actually. Looks like Josi is 3/10 of a second up on his best lap. And that will move him ahead of Gomez if he completes that one cleanly, and it moves him ahead of Balai as well. That final sector was great from Josi Vila. He will be over the moon with that one, up into the top 5 ahead of Balai, ahead of Julian Martin Gomez. Fantastic stuff. What about Robin Kreutzhoff? He's 2/10 of a second up on his best lap coming out of the Boulderberg Bocht. Down towards the final chicane. Is he going to be able to make this work? Nice and smooth. Onto the brakes. A neat turn in. He's raced at this circuit in real life as well, so you'd hope that real world experience that prepares him for this one. Zolder is not an easy track to get used to. He runs to the line. He's keeping it straight towards the line as well. And he goes up to 2nd place. Great lap that by Robin Kreutzhoff. Really solid lap time that. He's still 7/10 of a second off, but he was merely thousandths of a second ahead of Cornel Burquez. And as you can see, he's very happy about it. With a lovely little 360 there. The number 43 there, teammates of the 2 Vilas. That's Alberto Garcia. He's going to start 15th in this one. As we see there on the screen, Gyula Zentai heading back into the pit lane to finish the session. There's Artizeros, truck number 84, the MAN. Lovely livery on that machine. I really do like that one. He's heading into the pit lane. It's worth practicing the pit entrance here at this circuit because it's not an easy one to get right. And as you see there, the session now ticks over to what will become the race session. And the trucks will all line up on the grid and get cracking in just a moment's time. Bit of a nerve-wracking time for the drivers now, though. They've just been pushing hard through qualifying, getting the most that they can out of the trucks through every single lap. Now they've got to do that with other people around them on the circuit. They're all trying to take away their positions, try and brake later than them. I think it's going to be quite the lively start to the race, this one. At the end of the day, there's some big old braking zones here at Zolder, so you need to be mighty careful to just prepare yourself, basically, for the check-up in front of you. Make sure that you don't go into the back of the competitors ahead, because at the end of the day, as soon as one person starts braking earlier and everybody starts reacting to that behind them, the sort of how early they brake just gets exaggerated more and more. Just think of like a traffic jam on a motorway. They say that traffic jams on motorways in the UK, I can't believe I'm reading this out loud, really, but they move backwards at 12 miles an hour down the dual carriageway in the UK because of when people stop and when people brake. And that's just because, you know, sometimes people brake when they don't need to, and it scares the life out of everybody else. But that's just the same here in motorsport. As soon as one person brakes early, the person behind them reacts to it, the person behind them then reacts to it, and it just gets exaggerated further and further down the pack. So as a driver, you need to be mighty, mighty prepared heading into the chicanes that we have here at Zolder. Especially that first chicane after such a long run down that back straight. But there is your front row of the grid then. Jorge Vila, championship leader, race winner of all four so far. Doing an amazing job this season, really playing the game and playing it right. Robin Kreutoff alongside him on the front row. He'll be hoping for a great result here because, like I said, he's driven this circuit in the real world in that very truck. He'll want to convert that experience into a strong result. Well, a pair of strong results, you could imagine, for Kreutoff is exactly what the doctor ordered. But we'll wait and see, won't we? Because Zolder giveth and Zolder taketh. It's safe to say. I think that they're going to be putting as much pressure on as they can for that top pairing. In just a moment's time, we will get everybody moving away from the line. And they will begin the formation lap here at Zolder. It says obviously 12 laps at the top of the screen. The first lap of the race will be the formation lap, so the race itself is 11 laps. But that's still a mighty long time around a circuit as demanding as Zolder. We've got just a minute left of the countdown. This is just a bit of a sort of time period for the drivers to get all the setups and everything sorted and, you know, prepare themselves. It's effectively like a little bit of a cool down before the race, because at the end of the day it's quite demanding for everybody to go straight out of qualifying then into the race. I can tell you that within the server there's a few good luck messages. Gibby and Christian, Robin Kreutoff and Jorge Vila all saying good luck, or GL. Not really been any chatter before that going on throughout the evening, just a few people disconnecting and reconnecting as their session has gone on. And as you see now at the top of the screen, lights are about to come on. They will all, of course, illuminate and then go out, but then the drivers will just begin on their formation lap. It'd be fantastic to see a standing start in truck racing, but the clutches would not survive, I tell you. And obviously, in truck racing, it would be mighty, mighty dangerous. Because if you get somebody that doesn't get away from the line, we've all seen it in motorsport before, when someone doesn't make it away, it can be pretty scary. We look back here from Jorge Vila at Robin Kreutoff. So it's those two on the front row, then Cornel Burkes and Csaba Hegedus. Then it is Józsi Vila and Gergo Balai on row 3. Julian Martin Gomez will start from 7th ahead of Bjorn Teijhuis. Then it's Gillian Christian and Alex Little on row 5. Benjamin Rico and Herman Tobias Martinez on row 6 ahead of Shabox Kerry and Jose Maria Rosa. Next up we have Alberto Garcia and Mark Muehlmann, Bastian Donker and Christian Artezeros. Eula Zentai will start in 19th place with Victor Chabadas alongside him, completing the top 20. Then it's Nathan Smith and Henry Teijhuis in 22nd. David Astorga Ramirez will start in the Renault MKR in 23rd. Then it's Matis Krizmanic and, of course, Andreas Wagner in 25th position. As you can see now, all filtering their way down to that first chicane, and this is where it's going to get mighty tough in the race. And I can confirm to those of you asking in the chat, this is Assetto Corsa with mods. A mod created by the developers of this championship and the organisers. A very, very fun mod indeed, with all these wonderful racing trucks, very well modelled. So many variations of all trucks as well. But there's no variation when it comes to race winners this season. It is Jorge Vila winning everything that he can at present. But it's great to see that even with those race victories, he's not been able to completely run away in the championship as well. Csaba Hegedus in 2nd position. Like I said, only 12 points behind him. Csaba scored 81 points back at the Slovakia ring. Jorge Vila has won every race on the road, I should add, but he hasn't had maximum points from both race meetings. There was a bit of controversy regarding his race start at the Slovakia ring, accelerating a little bit too early and gaining an unfair advantage over the pole sitter. You can see there we had Julian Martin Gomez in the all-white MAN, no race number on that truck. He had a big old slide for a moment. It is the number 31 machine, I can tell you, but in the timing and visually you can see there's no number drawn on that machine, so we'll have to remind you. But you can see it in the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. Even still, the field now bunches up, heads into the chicane, and what is going to be the 5th race in the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge, with Jorge Vila and Robin Kreutoff on the front row, will get underway as of right now. And Vila gets his foot down and they all build up speed. You can see everybody fanning out behind them as well. Kreutoff immediately moves into the middle of the road to try and defend from Cornel Berquez. He puts his nose down the inside. There's a little bit of a shove in the centre there as well. Gergo Balai. Oh, and 2 of the Urban Sim Racing machines are off. There's a Renault off there as well. We've also already lost Julian Martin Gomez. He's off into the gravel. I think Jose Vila went in a little bit too hot there. He's dropped a number of positions in all of that. Actually, no, I say that. He's gained positions, but there's a humongous hole in the field. Seems like he's sort of headbutted some of them off the track into that first corner. Benjamin Rico will be loving life because he's moved up a number of places already. He's had a fantastic, fantastic start to this race. He'll be over the moon with that one. But Jorge Vila, great start for him. Kreutoff 2nd, Berquez 3rd. It's side by side now between Gillian Christian and Jose Vila into the chicane. Benjamin Rico in there as well, trying not to make contact with Alberto Garcia in truck 43. There's plenty of argy-bargy going on in the background. Looks like Alberto Garcia lost a lot of time, but not a load of positions. Mark Muehlmann in the thick of it as well in that gorgeous number 25 machine. A little bit of argy-bargy on the way in as well. That's the number 48 machine. Garcia tries to cut back across. A little bit of contact with the 48. Number 48 machine, actually. Is it actually number 48? That Garcia is racing against? No, Csaba Hegedus in truck 34. It's actually got 48 written on his machine. I'm not quite sure why he's wearing that. Garcia lobs one up the inside and it's a little bit late and a little bit clumsy, actually. Csaba now having to be very careful. I wonder why he's ended up as number 48. If there was a third of the Urban Racing machines that had that livery, or is it Csaba Hegedus that has dropped down and they've just swapped places? Not quite sure. Still, Gillian Christian side by side with Jose Vila. Jose on the outside on the way into the chicane. Then on the inside on the exit gets a fantastic run, but the two of them nearly hook together on the left-hand side of the track. I can tell you, though, it is Csaba Hegedus that is still running up there in 7th place. So, yeah, that's number 7 machine. Wrong number on the windscreen for some reason, as the Buck Aqua Racing truck of Gillian Christian really getting amongst it now with Josi Vila. Benjamin Rico, just shoulder barging Csaba Hegedus a little bit there into turn 2, but look at the gap to the front 3 from these guys now. There is a humongous gap ahead, all created by this battling that they're having. That is Csaba Hegedus that we see on screen in truck 34, but wearing the livery of his teammate, it seems. An interesting move, maybe to just put the blame on somebody else, I don't know. Still, Mark Muehlmann just behind them, and Alberto Garcia, Herman Tobias Martinez in there as well. He's just hoping to pick up some of the pieces, I think, if all of this goes wrong. But that is the number 43 of Garcia, right in the thick of it, right in the mix. You can see Mark Muehlmann just ahead. You can see in the mirror as well the number 33 of Martinez. Very, very close. But they're all keeping it fair at the moment, I'd say. That first corner incident, though, certainly looked like it took out a few of the Urban Sim Racing machines. Just trying to figure out who else it was. It was Gogo Balai, wasn't it, that went off? Gogo Balai was the other one. There's some dramas down there at the Boulderberg box. Victor Chabardos, Artezeros and Donker have all lost a bunch of positions. There's been some sort of contact in there that has thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, to say the least. Jorge Vila across the line then. Finishes his lap. Here's Henry Taihus, currently in 17th place. Gyula Zentai has dropped a few places as well at that chicane. Gyula now recovering back onto the circuit on the right-hand side, but not up to full pace, it seems. There is Andreas Wagner. He started right at the back of the field, did Andreas, and now he's continuing to gain positions. He's got Gogo Balai behind him, then Krizmanic and Zentai. He's got a face full of Renault at the moment with David Astorga Ramirez. He also started further down the order in truck number 20 and has gained a lot of positions. Down towards the chicane they go again. This is Josi Vila in 4th with Christian, Rico, Hegedus and Muehlmann all behind. Then Garcia, Nathan Smith moving past Herman Tobias Martinez as well into the chicane. Here's a battle as well. Bjorn Taihus side by side with Alex Little. Alex having some bad luck on that opening lap again by the look of it. He went off at turn 1. These guys all working very hard to just make little to no contact with one another through this opening sector. I say it, and there's big contact. Gyula Zentai gets a front row seat as Krizmanic absolutely smacks into the side of, was that Bjorn Taihus? I don't know, because, well, they're all trying to still recover back onto the circuit. Bjorn Taihus is just watching this, actually. Here we ride on board with Bjorn right now. That's Jose Maria Rosa, and he's been spun around towards the final corner. He does a complete 360 though, manages to point it back in the right direction, but Bjorn has actually ended up muscling Henry Taihus off the circuit. And running wide in the background as well, Victor Jabardos in truck 28. Getting back up to speed. Bjorn was, not remorseful in lifting out of the throttle there, was he? With Jose Maria Rosa just pitched around the front of his truck. A bit further up the order, here's Csaba Hegedus all over the back now of Benjamin Rico. Rico's going really well. He's got a top 10 finish in his debut in the championship, I think, or at least his debut meeting. I think that might have been Poznan last season. But Rico has always been there and thereabouts. I think one of his first races was a little bit shaky, but he was just finding his feet in the series and finding his pace. Josi Vila needs to find his pace, though. At the moment, he's not getting away from any of these guys, is he? He's not able to break away from the likes of Gillian Christian and Benjamin Rico. I think Rico, at the end of the day, is just not quite holding them up, but he's not got enough of a pace advantage over Christian to get through. Hegedus is the one that's definitely got the pace on these guys, but isn't able to make enough of a lunge yet on the Mercedes. It's a shame not to see Enrique Marcos here in his fantastic Mercedes. Love the way they wobble their way through the chicane. Down there at the Villeneuve chicane. Over the crest of the hill they go towards Boulderberg Box once again. Lap 5 out of 12 in this race already. Certainly flying by quickly. Here's Gogo Balai. He lost a place in that previous sector. Not sure whether that was him getting past Andreas Wagner and then them swapping back as, whoa, Ramirez just clipping the grass on the left-hand side of the circuit. Really shakes him up into the braking zone. Oh, and it was Balai trying to get through on the right-hand side. Wagner got way out of shape and he sort of tail whipped him as he came out of the corner. Now Gyula Zentai is going to go through in the Freightliner, down the inside, hard on the brakes. Hopefully it doesn't get into Wagner and cause a major drama here. Balai rotates it on the brakes nicely. Zentai just cuts the nose off. Doesn't leave enough room on the exit. And now going through, is that Ramirez as well? It is. Sorry, not Ramirez. I apologize. No, it's not Ramirez going through. That is the number 31 machine of Julian Martin Gomez trying to make a place. And there's more contact on the exit as well. Continuous contact between these guys. They're being very, very careful, but also trying not to damage the trucks too much. Unfortunately, Artezeros has disconnected before the end of the race. He's showing us in the pits and out of this one after the earlier contact. Now, make no mistakes, that truck in front has number 48 written on it, but that's Chava Higueda's truck 34. Hard on the brakes right behind Benjamin Rico. You can see, look, smoke coming from the tyres as he tries to get it slowed down quickly enough. A big throw of lock one way, then the other. He's trying to get some sort of cutback on Benjamin Rico there, just to get the nose back down the inside on the exit, but he can't get enough of a run to make it count. Up through the revs they go. He's going for it down the inside now, is Higuedas. Nice and late on the brakes. Benjamin Rico, oh, Ben, you can't just turn into him. Luckily, it doesn't turn him off the circuit, but now, oh, Ben's not leaving enough room there. Muehlmann goes down the inside now. It's going to be on the outside, though, for the next part of the chicane. Oh, Ben's giving him a bit of a push there. We don't like to see that. Into the chicane they go. Muehlmann's gone deep, but he's going to cling to the apex. Just keeps it tidy enough on the exit. Oh, this is really nip and tuck stuff, this. Very, very close. Fastest lap of the race went in by Josi Villa, then Gillian Christian, now Benjamin Rico. Constantly the fast laps are changing here, the fastest laps I should say. Nathan Smith there just behind, trying to move on Alberto Garcia. He wants a bit of the action as well, does the English driver. Goes from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, all while having Herman Tobias Martinez all over the back of him. Back to Mark Muehlmann. Down the inside of Rico, who's going for a wild ride over the curbs. He's going to lose a position or two extra as a result of that. Gets back onto the racing line, but Nathan Smith is now down his inside. Nathan, having a look on Alberto Garcia, who gets 1, 2 taps, somehow faces the right way. And now Nathan slides through a position. Herman Tobias Martinez in all of that. Ironically, Benjamin Rico is the one that lost all of the positions there. Now, watch Garcia on the brakes. Can he outbrake Martinez? Yes, he can. But what about the exit? Yeah, they avoid contact. Nicely done. Very nicely done indeed. It's not easy to do that. Down towards the next chicane. Nathan Smith has been given a lifeline there to break away. Speaking of breaking away, though, Jorge Vila leading this race and doing an incredible job. Nobody able to get near him at this present moment. Robin Kreuthoff has been doing brilliantly, though, but he's 2.6 seconds behind. Not been able to match the pace of our race leader. Cornel Burquez still in third position. Josi Vila now has got a bit of a buffer back to Gillian Christian. Some of those battles definitely helping him out. He'll feel a lot more comfortable now that they've all subsided, because the battles have continued on, but he's not been in the mix with it. There we see Herman Tobias Martinez. He's now trying to move on Rico, moves out to the left-hand side. It's just a bit of a fake look at the moment. Just tries to fill his mirrors, just sort of half make him think that he's going for the move, you know, trying to send one up the inside. Gogo Balai is the next truck behind them, but he's some distance back from these guys now. Bjorn Tyhus in the back of this train. He's got Gomez just ahead, then Kerry, then Little. Moving further forward, you've got Ramirez, who is under pressure from Little, looks down the inside of the number 20. Oh, but he doesn't leave enough room on the inside, does the number 20. And now he cuts straight back. Whoa, hello, that was not savoury. Moved straight back across the circuit completely there as he rejoined. That was not kosher. But Alex Little, lovely manoeuvre. Threw it up the inside and then just didn't get left enough room, unfortunately, by David Astorga Ramirez. And he's found himself back in a similar position to where he started this race, is David. Chabot's Kerry was having a little look down the inside of Alex there in the Freightliner. Great looking little truck, isn't it, that Freightliner? Lovely livery as well from Alex. We move further forward here, and Andreas Wagner having a look at Gyula Zentai in truck number 70. You know who I missed this evening? Jari Stark. Jari Stark is usually an absolute star in the Freightliners, but we don't see Jari here this evening. Andreas Wagner, though, a real stalwart of the virtual racing events and series. We do a lot of community events and so on. Andreas has been in pretty much all of them. There's not many that he hasn't raced in. And he's right in the thick of it once again here with Matthias Krizmanic right up behind him. Lap 9 out of 12 here. And a bit further up, Germán Tobias Martinez has got ahead of Benjamin Rico, and it looked like Rico was off the circuit there as well. And he's now having to try and recover. Csaba Hegedus on our screens now, wanting a bit of the action from Gillian Christian just in front. He wasn't quite able to stay with him earlier, was he? And you can see now he's really pushing through these chicanes to try and get that place back. But it's not as straightforward as you'd think. Just push harder doesn't always result in extra positions. We move forward now on to Robin Kreutoff's dashboard in this fantastic Scania T. So much heavier and older than a lot of the other trucks in the field. In real life, the guys also struggle with the weight of this machine compared to a lot of their competitors, but they work mighty hard in making it still competitive. Be great to see Robin's capability in a sort of real even playing field of machinery. We all know he's a very potent driver, not just in the sim, but in real life as well, behind the wheel of this machine. We move on to lap 10 here at Zolder. Been a very, very interesting race so far tonight. A lot of chases going on. We hope you're enjoying the show here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge with me, Chaz Draycott, real world commentator and commentator of the Digital Racing Challenge as well. I hope you're all enjoying having me back after my wonderful colleague Jake Sperry covered last time round at the Slovakia ring. I'm told that Jake did a wonderful job and looked after you all. Always great to hear. These guys are getting closer and closer together here, actually. Hegedus, I was saying before, not able to really stick with Christian and put the pressure on. Now he's ahead of the likes of Mark Muehlmann, and he's not got Mark all over the back of him. He can just focus forward now, can Csaba. Is there an overlap there? No, he moves to the left-hand side of Gillian, then back over to the right. Okay, if you're the truck behind doing that. If you're the truck in front, then there'll be a few questions. Up over the crest of the hill they go. Now, is he going to try one down the inside here? No, Gillian puts the truck in the middle of the road, but he brakes a little bit early, gets caught out by Hegedus. There's a bit of contact. still keeps it in the chicane nicely. That was good stuff by the pair of them there. They didn't escalate that incident. They very easily could have done. But they kept that one very clean, nice and tidy. Looks like Rico and Garcia have changed positions a little bit further back as well. There's been a change there somehow. There's a lot of battling and changing going on though, isn't there, in this race? This has been a great one so far. Oh, now that sounds like a bit of drama further back. Wagner and Little have both lost a bunch of time. This is what's happened. Oh, Alex Little got onto the grass. Made a big old mistake. And I think he's going to let... Yes, he lets Andreas Wagner go. That's good sportsmanship, that, from Alex. He'll be a bit frustrated at himself for making the initial mistake and causing that incident. As you can see, Bastian Donker in the pit lane there, unfortunately, and then Artezeros in there as well. I wonder whether Artezeros' livery takes any inspiration from Mark Taylor's livery from previous seasons, with the sort of black overall livery and then the sort of coloured white stripes up the side of it. Looks very much like the front of Mark Taylor's machine. Here you can see the external view of Gillian Christian's defence against Csaba Hegedus, and also the on-board view from back there. It's mighty close. Down towards the chicane, up through the top end of the revs. Look at that, Gillian just putting the truck in the middle of the circuit there, putting it in the exact place he wants it, for Csaba to not be able to mount any sort of attack on him and go by. He's actually gained quite a bit of time, hasn't he, out of that first chicane. Did a very, very good job. I think these guys now are going to be maybe settling in, figuring out what championship points they're going to get for the finish position that they are currently in. Maybe settling for where they are and not overdoing it in these last moments of the race. It's very easy to overdo it in the later stages. And let's not forget as well, as pointed out by Director Giro, the position that we currently ride on board with Nathan Smith in 8th place is reverse grid pole position as well, so he will start from the very front of the order if he finishes here in this race. So he needs to keep his wits about him. Be sure to finish there if possible. Right now, Csaba Hegedus wants an extra position. Now, it'll be an extra position in this race, not on the grid. He's obviously confident that he can get back past Gillian Christian in race 2 if he starts behind him. Although that's not going to work for him. Mark Muehlmann now, he wants a bit of this. He goes down the inside after that failed attempt. He could potentially be the one to gain a position out of this now in the Scania. Moves down the inside. The two of them make a little bit of contact as well. Sideways goes Hegedus, and look at that. Nathan Smith goes through on the left-hand side. I think Csaba will be quite happy to settle for this and take reverse grid pole position, but a lot of the drivers tend to forget about that while the race is on. He has settled in behind him for now. We'll see how long he actually sits there. And not very long is the answer. Csaba Hegedus throws it down the inside of Nathan Smith into the next chicane. Says, thank you very much, I'll take some of that. And I'll go through with an added position. Thank you very much, Nathan. But at the very front of the field, what can you say about Jorge Vila? We're running out of superlatives for him. Absolutely phenomenal drive by Jorge. He comes round the final corner and he's going to take a race victory for the 5th time this season in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge. He finishes ahead of Robin Kreutoff. Well done to him. Great finish in 2nd place. Cornel Berquez next up, then Jose Vila in truck number 66. Gillian Christian, can he finish ahead of the other drivers piling in behind him? Yes, he can. It's going to be Mark Muehlmann next up in truck 25, then Csaba Hegedus, truck 34, and Nathan Smith in number 11 will take reverse grid pole position. Oh, dearie me, there was a bit of unwanted contact after the line there. Benjamin Rico is next up in truck 77 ahead of Herman Tobias Martinez. Then we have Alberto Garcia, Gergo Balai, Jose Maria Rosa, Gomez next up in truck 31. He's yet to cross the line, just crossing the line now actually, ahead of Gyula Zentai. Then we have Jabolx Kari in the background, just ahead of Bjorn Tyhus, 0.2 of a second between them as they cross the line. Then Matis Krizminic. I said Matthias earlier on, I do apologise. Oh, big contact between Astorga Ramirez and Jabardos across the line. Alex Little behind those guys, just avoiding all of that. And then Andreas Wagner has headed into the pit lane already. Henry Tyhus will be the last truck to cross the line in this race. Let's keep an eye on him. And Henry completes the race, but what a fantastic win yet again for Jorge Vila. Josi Vila as well, doing well in that one, finishing in 4th place. Those two will potentially work together again in the second race. Have to wait and see how well they can make that one stick. But they did a fantastic job. Well done to them. We're going to go to a quick break now, though, while the drivers and everybody get reset for the second race of the evening. We're going to have a look back at some highlights, some of the best shots from that race, and we'll be back with you for race 2 in just a few minutes. Okay, hello again everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the second race of the night in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge here from Zolder. The trucks that you see in front of you now are Nathan Smith, and alongside him on the front row, Csaba Hergédis. Truck number 34, actually, in fact, is Csaba Hergédis. But the two of them finished in 8th and 7th places, respectively, in the first race of the night here at Zolder. And they will now start on the front row with the reverse grid for this next round. Behind them, they have the delightful number 25 machine of Mark Muehlmann, and then Gillian Christian's number 16 MAN. Then Josi Vila, they'll start from 5th position alongside Cornel Burquez, another one of the urban sim racing machines. Robin Kreutzhoff and Jorge Vila, championship leader, they certainly worked, well, I was going to say they worked together, but they definitely didn't. They just chased each other all the way to the line, but it was Robin Kreutzhoff not quite able to match Jorge in that first race of the evening. So it's going to be exciting to see just how much this race has in store and see whether these guys can spice it up a little bit for this second one. But of course we hope there will be no contact, no drama, but this is Zolder and these are racing trucks, so it's almost inevitable, but in a fun way. Drivers all seem to be enjoying themselves out there tonight. They're making the most of the circuit, and we will see what goes on. Just trying to have a look through some of the chat in the server between races, but a lot of it is in Spanish, I'm not going to lie, so I can't tell you what they all said. But Nathan Smith starting on pole position. He's going to be hoping for an English victory in this race. Just trying to think of where the next British driver in the field is. I don't think we have any other British drivers in the field other than Nathan Smith, so he's flying the flag for sure in this one. Ahead of the Hungarian Csaba Hergédis, then the, I believe, German Mark Muehlmann, Gillian Christian, Hungarian. Netherlands is Mark Muehlmann, I apologise. My wrong assumption was based on the previous Clemens Hecker Racing Team livery that he ran before, but of course friends with Henry and Bjorn Tyhus with their similar branding. But yeah, Nathan Smith trying to uphold British truck racing honours now. I've met Nathan and his dad before and seen that truck in person, which I can tell you is awesome to see. When you've commentated on a truck in the virtual world before and then seen the real thing in person, it's a very, very strange thing. Especially in the likes of Robin Kreutzhoff and the wonderful DTR Dutch truck racing team. Got to bump into those guys at the Nürburgring last year, and I can tell you that Robin is approximately 9'8". He's a very, very tall gentleman, but a lovely guy all the same. He loves his truck racing, and he loves his truck, I can tell you that. They don't want to ever get rid of that Scania T-Cab. It's a fantastic looking bit of kit. And he's drifting it around on the opening lap here, the warm-up lap. But the grid itself, as mentioned, is Nathan Smith ahead of Csaba Hergédis. Mark Muehlmann and Cornel Burquez make up row 2. Josi Vila and Gillian Christian on row 3. And then we will have Robin Kreutzhoff and Jorge Vila on row 4. Then Herman Tobias Martinez, I always get that wrong, is alongside Benjamin Rico, Gergo Balai and Alberto Garcia on row 6. Jose Maria Rosa and Julian Martin Gomez on row 7. Julia Zentai is then with Szabolcs Kerry and Bjorn Tyhus, Matis Krismanich, David Estorga Ramirez, Victor Chapardos, Andreas Wagner. Alex Little starting a lot further down the order, same with Bastian Donker as well. Look for those guys trying to make moves up through the order, try and gain places. See these guys using all of the road and a little bit more as well to ensure that they get every bit of temperature into the trucks that they can. They've got to be so careful around this chicane, because even on a formation lap like this, a tiny misjudgment can lead to contact. Yeah, something that's just been pointed out by our director Giro as well. Something I noticed earlier as well is that you can still see the tyre marks and the tracks through the gravel and through the sand, actually, from where the trucks went off in previous races. You can see, look, on the right-hand side of your screen there, actually, a bit of dirt kicked up and the marks through the grass. People doing burnouts, as you can see from the previous race. All the tyre marks down there. great to see that get rendered from one session to the next. In a lot of sims, you'd usually just have that for maybe 10 seconds and it'd fade away. Now, Nathan Smith will be maybe a little bit nervous here, but he's done this in the real world, so we'll see whether he can hold on to this pole position. He's going to have Csaba Hegedus alongside him in truck number 34. The two of them now form up on one another. They build up to the line. Looks like Gillian Christian is ready for this one to get underway a bit sooner than everybody else. And race number 6 in the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge is underway. And Nathan Smith gets a fantastic launch off the line. He goes when he wants to and disappears down the road. Look at that down the inside now. Mark Muehlmann trying to move on Hegedus. There's a big argy-bargy moment, pushes him wide. There's loads of them off on the exit. Cornel Burkes, I think, is involved in that. Javox Kerry in there as well. And I think both of the, no, not both of the Vilas, but Alberto Garcia and championship leader Jorge Vila is involved in that. So the championship leader thrown way off the circuit. And of course, second in the championship, Csaba Hegedus will want to run with that and try and score points in this race now, knowing that he could have a much more difficult time of it. Let's see what he has in store. But at the moment, Nathan Smith leads the way. Mark Muehlmann in second place. This is what happened. Oh, Rico. And is that the number 20 again? No, it's not. It's the Jose Maria Rosa. But those two Renaults, the 20 and the 69, have had very, very scrappy evenings, it has to be said. I don't know whether that truck's wider than all the others or something, but they seem to hit every other truck around them as Csaba Hegedus goes really deep into the chicane, pushes Mark Muehlmann across there. Jose Vila goes across as well to ensure that he doesn't get any further contact as a result. But it's mighty, mighty close. Nathan Smith, though, ahead of Muehlmann. He's going to be checking his rear-view mirror. Javox Kerry moves ahead of Balai, Wagner ahead of Little. Jorge Vila ahead of Herman Tobias Martinez, who seems to be having some sort of issue and has dropped a few places. Jose Maria Rosa was the truck that seemingly caused all of the issues at the beginning. He was the truck on the inside and there was a lot of contact. Oh, Gergo Balai is dropping a lot of places. Artiseros and Wagner as well. There's been a big mess down at the hairpin. Those guys hopefully able to continue. But at the end of the first lap, it's Nathan Smith. This is what happened further down. Jorge Vila goes through the middle. Javox Kerry is around in the background. Whoa, goodness me. That's what happened. I think the two axles clipped each other. We've seen that before, actually. I think we saw that with Norbert Kish. Not last season. No, it was last season, wasn't it? At Most. Yeah, we saw contact, axle-to-axle contact. It just couldn't sort of justify the physics, and it threw the axle in the air. That's what happened there. Jorge Vila found a gap, went through the middle, and Gergo Balai, well, the truck just nosedived through the scenery. In the meantime, Mark Muehlmann has taken the lead of this race. He's ahead of Nathan Smith now. Csaba Hegedus still in third position ahead of Jose Vila, but Nathan has lost that lead. And is that newly painted Scania going to be a newly painted race winner? Very interesting to see if the first non-race winner of the season, well, sorry, non-Jorge Vila race winner of the season will be this newly painted truck. As more contact behind. Jose Vila really pushing. Oh, heck. He's lost it and absolutely smacked into Csaba Hegedus there. It looked like they were side by side on the way into the chicane. Looked like Jose just tapped him a little bit, which unsettled the truck on the way into the chicane, and then Jose's kept his foot in it and he's just taken him out. Not what you'd like to see, unfortunately. Right now, Nathan Smith, he's going to be grateful for that gap behind him, you know, because Gillian Christian is next up. Then it's Robin Kreuthoff. Robin's had a good start after starting 7th on the grid, already up into 4th place. He's going to be taking his time behind Gillian, knowing that he's not got to worry about Jorge Vila at the moment. Jorge's up to 14th place, though. He's gained plenty of time back, and he's got a bit of clear air in front of him as well. But we look now at Nathan Smith, and now to Victor Shabardos. Victor going very well in the Volvo. He's got Zentai and Krizminic ahead of him. Looking down the inside. No, not quite working this time, but watch now. Csaba Hegedus behind him. He's going to try and get the run on him. He's going to look to the inside into turn 2 on Victor. Later on the brakes, thank you very much, he says. Nearly contact. It's so hard to judge when you look at it from that angle, just how close they are together. He's got his nose ahead of the Volvo. Now he's looking down the inside of Goodyear Zentai's Freightliner. He's going to get that done as well. Lovely stuff by Chava in the Urban Sim Racing Iveco. Very tidy, great respect from those guys as well. I think those two in the same team, actually, Goodyear and Victor Chabados. The KHR brands on the back of that truck. Now, as late as they can be on the brakes, the Victor nearly pushing Chava through the chicane. He's also gained a place on Goodyear Zentai. Bastian Donker and Alex Little. Oh, hello. Little bit of contact there between those guys. Look behind them. Jorge Vila already in the picture, wanting to regain places side by side with Alex Little, two of our real-world drivers right with each other. Alex down the inside of Bastian, gives him a big old shove. Bastian comes back onto the circuit, and oh, come on, boys. That was messy and unnecessary completely there by Bastian Donker. He didn't even straighten it up. He just went straight across the side of Alex, and he took, again, Jorge Vila finds himself the innocent third party in an accident. Getting a little bit out of hand further back there as we look now at the very tidy battle between the front two. This is how you should do it, everybody. MAN versus Scania. English driver versus Dutch driver. Ooh, looks like Gomez has had a bit of a drama in the background. I think Kreutoff tried to move on Christian. Gomez tried to follow him through, and then it just didn't quite work for him, did it? But Nathan Smith will be very pleased, like I said before, after that first lap, to have got rid of that gap. Yeah, look, Robin tries it down the inside. And then, oof, Bjorn Tyhus smacks into the back of Kreutoff's Scania. Gives him a sudden surge forward, and away you go, sunshine. Nathan Smith, though, he'll be happy for championship points to just hold on to this position, to be fair. He'll want to do his best here. Just gain that place. At the end of the day, you've got to think about the big picture in a championship like this. There's so much of a competitive culture. You don't want to fall behind at all. Now they're hard onto the brakes into that second chicane. Nathan carries a lot more speed on the way into the corner, and you can see, look, through the middle of the chicane. He's brilliant through there. But Muehlmann is just able to get the truck in the right place at the right time to stay in front and not get caught in the places that matter. Although Nathan, I'd imagine, may have a look here. No, there's nowhere to go, or is there? Nathan finds a way to get his nose around the outside. The Scania goes in a little bit deep. He tucks the MA in on the right. The MAN in on the right, I should say. Takes to the grass a little bit, and it's side by side for the race lead. Now remember, boys, you don't need to door bang each other down here. They're keeping it nice and tidy. Look, that's what we like to see. Nathan's going to be on the outside. That's going to become the inside. Tries to squeeze him to the apex. Muehlmann's going to do the same thing. This is great battling for the lead. Muehlmann with that wider line is going to get the run on the exit. They're going to reach 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour at around the same time. But Muehlmann's going to have that inside line now into turn 1. He's going to be able to keep that position, I believe. But if Nathan gets a good enough run here on the exit, because he's got that wider line, he could look down the inside into turn 2. No, doesn't work this time around for him. Great battling, though, that was. That was exactly what you want to see. Really close to contact at all points, but they just keep it tidy enough not to hit each other. There's no retaliation. There's no sort of intentional contact to sort of upset the truck next to them or any of that. We've unfortunately seen a number of the drivers sort of butting heads a little bit between some of the teams, and almost in retaliation just sort of taking each other out for the championship, and it's a massive shame. But right now, this is a brilliant display of exactly what we want to see. That's exactly what Nathan wants to see. A great run out of the chicane. Look at that. Gets a mega run on the right-hand side of Muehlmann. They kiss wing mirrors as they head down towards the Villeneuve chicane. Tucks it in on the left-hand side, does Muehlmann. Now Nathan just needs to make sure he gives enough room here. Oh, they nearly do. It's so hard to get them side by side through there. Muehlmann backs out, goes a little bit wide. He's going to cut back again. Don't think there was any malice in that whatsoever. That was just very tough racing. Now, let's have a look I think Nathan has hit the penalty marker for sure there, though. Muleman tries it around the outside now, late on the brakes. Not sure if he gave him a little bit of a kiss. He certainly did mid-corner anyway. And as you can see there, Nathan snatches it up through the gears. It kicks the back end out, but look behind them. Gillian Christian right behind with Robin Kreutoff in the picture as well. Then Bjorn Teichhuis. We ride on board now with Gillian Christian, third position for the number 16. Hard onto the brakes, little puffs of smoke in front from the hard braking. Who's that off at the side? Is that Shabok's Kerry? It is. Kerry off at the side of the road. There's been a drama further back. Jose Maria Rosa, I think, has caused too many dramas. Has once again been caught up in something and is already showing his DNF'd. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but yeah, it seems like there's been another big bit of contact. Herman Tobias Martinez, Bastian Donker involved. That's a big shame. Certainly kicking off a little bit further back as sideways. Muleman just clips the back corner of Nathan Smith's machine, and again as they head towards the Lucien Bianchi box, Nathan somehow stays in it. But now look at the run from Gillian Christian in that black number 16. Which way is he going to go? He tries to go to the right. Muleman says there's no gap there, mate. You're not going through. Is he going to try it late on the brakes down the inside? No. What can Robin Kreutoff do here? He could very easily take the lead of this race if the guys in front get a little bit ahead of themselves. Nathan Smith over the crest of the hill, though. Keeping it tidy at present. He's got that lead back as Kreutoff tries it down the inside again. There's more contact with Gillian Christian. He's trying to put his nose down the inside into corners, and Gillian's just not giving it the time of day. He's just coming across him that tiny bit to upset the truck, and it just blocks him off, closes the door completely. We're over the halfway point of this race now here at Zolder. Round number 3, race number 6 of the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge, or the Digital Drifting Challenge as Nathan Smith dubs it just there. Very sideways round the Boulderberg box hairpin. Gila Zentai has just lost out to Jorge Vila. Chris Manich has got ahead of Josi Vila. And we head on to another lap of this race. Lap number 8 about to begin. Nathan Smith still leading the way. On board now with Bjorn Teichhuis. Truck number 51 in the DAF. The DAF is in the top 5, everybody. I know the DAF has a lot of big fans in this field. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. Love the thing. Great to see Bjorn going so well in it. That glove gets right in the way, doesn't it, from this perspective? All determined by driver position, of course. You can change your seating position in Assetto Corsa, so depends where Bjorn wants that. Now build up the revs. Again, look, just mid-corner, the back end will step out slightly. Muleman is doing everything in his power to stay with Nathan Smith. He's beaten him before, he wants to beat him again. Looking back now from Nathan's MAN towards that lovely Scania. Very similar front end to what you would have seen on Stefan Fast's truck, I believe. The Tank Pool 24 machine is what that one's based on. Over the crest, hard onto the brakes, and there's another look back from Gillian Christian at the, the Scania T of Robin Kreutoff. Gillian going deep into the chicane as a result, over the rumble strips, and remains in front of Robin. You can't hear Robin from here, but I imagine he's shouting all sorts of words to try and get by. 27 degrees track temperature at the moment, 20 degrees Celsius air temperature, so the track isn't particularly boiling. It's not going to be shredding those Goodyears. Goodyear do, even in the virtual world, make a very durable tyre for truck racing. It can deal with a lot of punishment. And you can hear Nathan Smith there just snatching a break on the way into that final chicane. A very tidy lap 8 from these guys. The Rainbow Warrior truck racing machine holding on to 4th place. This will be great for his championship, this, because he's a few positions ahead of Csaba Hegedus, and coming into this round, don't forget he finished ahead of him in the earlier race. He was only 2 points behind in the championship, coming into this race evening as such. Looking a little bit back, there is Csaba right now, right behind Gomez, wanting to put him under as much pressure as possible. Tries to get the cut back, and Gomez just parks it on the exit. Really nicely done. Chava Hegedus went to get that cut back, and it just didn't work for him. Side by side now for third position. Is Kreuthoff finally going to get this done? Is Zentai going to let it slip? There's a little touch on the exit, but he gets through. Kreuthoff is through, and look at that. Fantastic, fantastic opportunism there by Bjorn Teichhuis. He also makes it through, up into fourth position. Gillian Christian now drops down into fifth. The battle is reignited for the lead. Mainly by Nathan Smith going sideways everywhere by the look of it. Absolutely everywhere on the exit of that chicane. And they're hard onto the brakes into the hairpin. Now these guys will be hoping that they can stretch away from Robin Kreuthoff here with a few laps to go, but I don't think it's going to be that simple. Robin is one of the fastest guys in the series. Now he's going to be just about... Actually, I was expecting him to be quicker on that previous lap, but I suppose he was battling, so I did wonder whether he... Well, he was only actually 0.2 slower on that previous lap. And right now, it's the battle between Muehlmann and Nathan Smith that is reigniting here. Muehlmann has, to be fair, got quite the advantage behind him. This is not the last lap of the race. He's pushing him now down towards the chicane. He's going to go this way and that way. Look, he tries to fake it down to the inside, tries to put Nathan under enough pressure. I think there was a little bit of a tap there on the brakes. Nathan definitely watching his mirrors on that one, though. He knew that there could be a throw down the inside. But look at that. Robin Kreuthoff already gaining back ground. And he's going to be pushing on now to see if Bjorn Teichhuis can basically match what he's throwing at him at this moment. Gillian Christian is pretty solid in there though as well, isn't he? In fifth, as you can see in the picture-in-picture, Josi Vila and Jorge Vila trying everything they can do to get past Chava Hegedus side by side into the final chicane. Jorge moves over to the right, Chava moves over to the right, covers off that outside run. A little bit of a push and a kiss on the exit as well. Josi, I think, has let Jorge go through. But these guys now will be filling Chava's mirror with sky blue. MAN will just be absolutely pressed into that rear bumper bar of that orange urban sim racing machine. It's almost like Chava's borrowed his teammates' colour scheme for this one. He's borrowed the spare truck. I remember back in the days of Formula One teams taking 3 cars to a circuit, having a T car. This is like the T truck for the urban sim racing squad. And all of this time as well. Oh, actually, what was that there between Josi and Jorge? I think there was a bit of contact between the two. I was going to say, all the while they're catching right up to Gomez ahead of them. That was incredible stuff. Muehlmann now has 1 lap left to go here to beat Nathan Smith to the line, but Nathan might take this one, you know. He started on pole position. And who was it alongside him on the front row? It was Chava Hegedus, wasn't it? On that front row before all the dramas earlier on. Nathan is absolutely reveling in this opportunity. Jorge looks down the inside of Chaba. He's got Gomez in front of him. They're all very hard on the brakes not to smack into one another. Gomez is really a cork in the bottle here. I hate the phrase, but he really is. He's going to want to defend this as hard as possible now, maybe help his countrymen out. Chaba's going to look down the inside. Oh, but Jorge's on his right. He's not going to like that. And yep, there's one push, another push, and another push. We're on to the final lap of the race now here at Zolder tonight in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge, the name that rolls off the tongue so effortlessly. And we wait to see how this battle, I imagine, erupts in this final lap. I think something's got to give here as Jorge looks down the inside of Chaba, bounces off the side of the Iveco. He's not going to like that. And now Gomez is on the inside line. Chaba's in the middle. And what is that about? He's going to go round the outside of him, actually, and down the inside of Jorge. Yossi's been hit there by, who is that? Was that Victor Chabados? Gomez now runs wide. Yossi Vila is in the mix as well. There's a big old shove there from Chava Higueras, and now Gomez, oh, he's taking him off. Ended up putting him off into the gravel. And you wonder at that point whether Gomez was helping Jorge Vila, because he defended one way, then the other. Jorge Vila was fantastically opportunistic, went one way, then the other as well. Just so happened to be the opposite way to Gomez. That will be one for the stewards to look at. I can hear Giro gritting his teeth behind the scenes. But this is the battle for the lead then, with just a few corners left. Nathan Smith in truck number 11 here, the only British driver in the field, ahead of Mark Muehlmann in the brand new painted, Kreeft branded number 25 Scania. He's been running the Clemens Hecker branded machine for the first few rounds, but now he's in this gorgeous thing. He's pushed Nathan, he's pushed him again. He doesn't want to gain the position like that. Robin Kreutoff behind, and then Bjorn Teichhuis as well. Into the final couple of corners, though. Nathan Smith now hoping to take that race win. It looks like he's got it all sorted. Nice and respectful, actually, by Muehlmann. He doesn't just throw it up the inside mindlessly, although Nathan's had a bit of a poor run out the final corner there. It's nearly a drag race to the line, but I'm delighted to say that Nathan Smith wins a round of the Digital Racing Challenge here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Scanias 2 and 3. Mark Muehlmann ahead of Robin Kreutoff. Bjorn Teichhuis next up. And then Gillian Christian in truck number 16, his second fifth place finish of the night. Jorge Vila next up in truck 12 ahead of Yossi Vila as well. Those two certainly made waves coming through the order. Victor Chabados inside the top 10, well done to him, ahead of Gomez in truck number 31. And then it was Gyula Zentai, truck number 70, completing the top 10. Cornel Burquez next up ahead of Krizmanic and Chaba Higueras in truck 34. Then it was Gergo Balai in truck 86. And Benjamin Rico, truck 77. Alex Little recovered from the back of the grid to 16th, despite some dramas. Then Henry Teichhuis ahead of Andreas Wagner. Then Christian Artezeros. He finished that second race of the night. He DNF'd earlier on, so he'll be happy with at least a finish. David Astorga Ramirez, him and his teammate Jose Maria Rosa, causing some dramas tonight. Alberto Garcia next up ahead of Jabox Kerry, who was 2 laps down in the end after, I believe, some dramas earlier on. And then Nathan Smith, your race winner. Nathan will be absolutely over the moon, like I say. He's been working hard on this for a while now. He's been in this for 3 seasons, pushing as hard as possible. And I know that he will be pretty grateful to have finished that way. You can see in the background, look, all the Dutch drivers forming a bit of a wall together to finish the formation lap. Ahead of Jorge Vila and Yossi Vila, who are wanting to not necessarily give them a push. But Nathan rounds out the night with the best possible result here. And that is only the 3rd race meeting of the championship completed. We have 4 more where that came from, as the championship will continue on. And there you see, that is the rest of the calendar for you. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for the wonderful Nürburgring on the 2nd of March. Following that, we'll be going to Autodrom Most in Czechia, and then it will be Jarama in Spain, where the Real World Series normally finishes. But then we finish our Digital Racing Challenge at Misano on April the 13th, where the Real World Championship will start just a month after that. But that's all we've got time for here tonight in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge. Plenty of exciting and dramatic racing, it's safe to say. And good luck to the admins in the weeks in between. Thanks very much for listening. Thank you very much to the director, Gero Mulkow, once again for tonight. I've been Chaz Draycott here for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one.